Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the Horror Pop Extravaganza.
What is up, each and every one of you beautiful souls? How are you doing today, man? How you doing? You know where you are. This is the Horror Pop Extravaganza. I am Pops Ghostly, as always, and with me today is the beautiful, the ever-radiant, the magnificent, the smells like cheese in a can.
Dude, I was like, is there more?
No, that was it. The little Dukeus, the little Duke Spookiest.
The little Duke.
How are you, sir?
Great. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to be on the podcast.
I am always glad to have you here with me, especially to talk about the movie we're going to talk about today, because anyone who listens to our show knows that you are very much a fan of breasts on film.
Yeah, breasts on film, but we're about to talk about the best breasts on film. The Mount Everest of breasts on film.
The Mount Everest of breasts on film. Okay. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the 80s, the late 80s, because, man, if there's a movie that feels like the 80s, it is this one right here. And we're going to talk about, you know, a little redhead who took a thing and ran with it and just did. Look at you. You're just ready to go, dude. Ready to go. Well, why don't we just do it then, dude? Why don't we hop right into it?
Let's do it.
Yeah, so Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, 1988. Lay it on us. Who's in it? Who directed it? And what is IMDb? I'm really interested to see what IMDb thinks this movie's about.
Two of my favorite folks are in this movie. Right breast and left breast.
You're an idiot.
All right. This thing was directed by James Signorelli.
Mm-hmm.
He'd only done just some SNL shorts at this point. He was fresh off the boat. But who they wanted to direct this movie was a young director named Tim Burton.
Really?
But unfortunately, he was doing Beetlejuice. So
I mean, it's got so much like Pee-wee vibes, dude. I could absolutely see Tim Burton, you know, helming this thing, and it probably would have been a cooler movie. Not to say that it's a bad movie, but put Burton behind it, it would have been even more wild, yeah.
It would have been amazing, yeah. And her and Pee-wee are famously good friends. They grew up together coming up in Groundlings, where they created characters to, like, do their show and shit, dude. And he created Pee-wee and she created Elvira. Elvira, famously, Cassandra Peterson, not famous. Nobody knows if you say, oh, Cassandra Peterson's in this movie. Nobody knows who that is.
There's a handful of people.
But it is the one and only.
And she does show up in this movie as herself. Yeah, you get to see her without the makeup and stuff. She plays like the great aunt or whoever, Morgana. And yeah, you actually get to see Cassandra without all of her garb on.
Yeah. And then the rest of this movie is just filled out with like her buddies from Second City.
Right.
Not a whole lot of people. You might know Eddie McClurg. She was big in like the 80s movies. She was the secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, she plays Chastity Pariah or whoever. Yeah, she's good.
Yes,
the one dude from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I noticed him. The older gentleman who worked at the hotel with I can't remember her name, but he was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then there was another guy I noticed too who was in a bunch of late 80s, early 90s, plays kind of like skeezy bally kind of a character. Maybe Tommy Boy or something. I don't know. But yeah, definitely a cast of like, these are 80s faces. All of these faces I remember from my whole childhood and into the 90s.
We're just going to get right to it. This movie is about, according to IMDb, upon arrival in a small town where Elvira has inherited a rundown mansion, the famous horror host must battle an evil uncle and townspeople who want her burned at the stake.
That's pretty spot on, dude.
Pretty spot on.
I mean, that is
Good
what
job,
this movie, yeah, that is what this movie is about. And so
it didn't mention her boobs once, though. That's a fair.
True, and she mentions them at least 30 times. But let's talk about Elvira real quick, because there was the controversy, the vampira stuff that was, around the same time. Cassandra would go from doing, she was a singer in like an Italian band at one point, like a couple bands or something. When she was young, she was over in Italy singing or something like that, was a showgirl, and then eventually would do, I think it was called Elvira's Movie Macabre. And it was in LA, and it was, weekly horror host where she would come on, you'd watch a movie with her, she'd make all kinds of jokes, innuendo just across, everything was innuendo. Everything she says is innuendo. She got super popular because I think she was like late 70s, early 80s, maybe 80, 81, something like that, where she first got on TV and started doing the thing. But she explodes. Everybody loves Elvira. Vampira tries suing him like, hey, you took my shtick, blah, 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 blah. She rides the wave all the way to this movie, to the motion picture, and she still is doing this character. You saw her recently, right?
Yeah, she no longer dresses up in the costume or anything,
Right.
but she still goes out, does autographs, brings the Elvira car. She has the dog with the little pink mohawk for real.
Sick. That's sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's
she's
76
just
years
awesome,
old
dude.
now. You know what I mean? I wouldn't
And
want to
she
be putting
still
all
looks
that.
amazing.
Right. I wouldn't want to put all that
We'll
on
have to put
either.
her. Oh,
I'll put
hell no, dude.
Right. It'd
Yeah,
be too much work.
that's what she's just like, at some point, you got to stop wearing this shit. I don't know if you remember, but in the 90s, they had a contest to replace Elvira with the new Elvira, and they did like a little reality series and shit.
No.
And a girl actually won to be the new Elvira, and then Elvira totally was like, you know what? She pulled a Jay Leno, dude. She wasn't ready to go. And she just like screwed that chick over, and she was like, nope, there's only one Elvira. Sorry.
Oh, that sucks. But I kind of get it,
Yeah.
Yeah, people, it's happened so many times in, Hollywood and all that. Oh, I'm retiring. Oh, I'm back. Oh, I'm gone. Oh, I'm back. But 88, we're coming right up. I think this is a good precursor movie to the abysmal year that would be 1989 when it came to horror. This was leading us there. Because this, for anyone listening, yes, horror along the lines of Ernest Scared Stupid level horror. It's not, nothing is ever truly scary in this movie. And it's tongue-in-cheek for the most part. But I think it is fun, rewatching it. I watched it with Shayna, and we were both sitting there laughing, throughout. There was a bunch of stuff, and we'll get there. But this really was like the cocaine-fueled Bud Light commercial. This was 1980s, man. This movie is it. We open up, we're watching, what was it? It came from somewhere. It came from another something. Anyway, this old monster movie. And we're being set up, Elvira as the host, doing her thing. She's she's laying on the couch making all the, I'm the one who put the boob in boob tube, and doing all of those things. She's has a fight with the station owner after the manager introduces, and this guy's like super greasy and gross. You told me she was a nympho. Just like super gross. He's like, they call me Longhorn. She's like, because your breath is trash. Da, 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 She always gives it to people quick, which I always enjoyed about Elvira. She's going to quit the station because we're going to Vegas. Her and her manager, they need $50,000 to go to Vegas to get her show, on the up and running. Where am I I got $30. Where am I going to get $50,000? Letter comes in the mail. Elvira, it's from your Aunt Morgana Talbot, which I like the Talbot name, throwback to Werewolf, the old monster, Lon Chaney stuff. Oh, okay, you got to come to the reading of The Inheritance. And she even looks right at the camera. She's like, perfect timing, huh? She's always breaking that fourth wall a little bit with all of us. She gets on the road. I love her in the car. She's just like awesome driving. She got this cool steering wheel, all the things. She drops a hot dog covered in mustard right between her boobs. It just falls. First, she's just like eating French fries, and then pulls a hot dog out of somewhere, and then's got like a giant drink. I'm like, I love this chick, dude. She's just like eating trash gas station food. Picks up a hitchhiker. He turns out, like, I guess we were led to believe he was going to kill her or something like that. But she's like, hey, you forgot your axe. Thunk, right into dude's back. Arrives at small town America. Very Mayberry in a lot of ways, or they want it to be. You know, they're holding on to Mayberry. But again, it's so tongue-in-cheek. Like, the main Karen in town is named Chastity Pariah. And I'm like, dude, I'll take it. But Elvira shows up and everybody's immediately like, oh, like, what? She's a freak out of nowhere. And she's just giving it to the people as they come. Crashes. Maybe her car breaks down. I can't remember how it breaks down. I don't think she crashes it, but it does break down. The whole hood falls off because the boys end up stepping all over the hood. The townspeople are like, get out of here, hooker, you street walking harlot of the night. And she's like, I'm going to get this Will Red, get my money, and I'm going to get out of here. The one kid I noticed, one of the boys was the dude from Nightmare 3. He was the wizard master. Yeah, with the glasses on. But everybody's just all about her boobs, you know? And even at one point, she's washing her windshield or wiping it off and just smacking her boobs against the window the whole time. Dunk, 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 dunk. Yeah, she is. Oh, she goes to the gas station. That's right. And there's this Texas chainsaw dude out there smoking a cigarette right next to the pump. He won't pump for her. She gets out. And he drops his cigarette. She just left the gas hose on the ground, and it's spilling gasoline everywhere. And it blows up. And I love that it was a real effect, too. They really blew up that building. Yeah. Okay, she's on the road. We're in town. She gets to the hotel. She wants to stay there, and they're like, we don't let no, hookers stay here. And the old man's like, well, maybe we do. I like this.
One exception.
Right. 2 exceptions. She meets this little younger girl. Robin. I think her name might have been. And Robin's looking up to her like, wow, you look awesome. And Robin comes out with a little bit of makeup on her eyes. And Grandma's like, no, Robin, you're not going to be okay. So Elvira stays. Well, she has the whole fantasy about what she's going to win. She's going to win a car and all this stuff. It's like a game show. But she ends up getting to the will reading, and it turns out she got the house, the dog, and the cookbook. There's a brother there, her uncle, who was hoping to get whatever. He wanted everything, and he gets nothing. Then the driver got the car and something else, and the housekeeper got like $5,000 and some fine china. So Elvira's like, oh, man, this sucks. Like, I can't do nothing, blah, blah, blah. I need $50,000. She decides she's going to sell the book to Uncle for $50, but not before she goes to the bowling alley, where you got all the yokels are hanging out, bowling. These 2 dudes are like, booby. And they go sit next to her. And she's, great. She's hilarious. And they're like, how about blowjob? And she just takes both, like, steins of beer and just dumps them straight onto their crotches. They get up. They're kind of manhandling her a little bit. She's got a fake knife. She pokes one. She's like, hee, look, pretend. And then Big Bob comes over, and he punches one dude. Gets the other guy. The other girl who's behind the bar, she was the current good looker in town until Elvira showed up, and now Bob's checking out Elvira a little bit. But I got to say, Bob really is kind of a stand-up guy.
He is, dude. He really goes all out for her.
And he doesn't force, like, she's trying to force herself on him, and he's like, whoa, let's eat first or something. Or she goes to give him a kiss after the bar fight or whatever, and she's standing there with her lips, and then he just gets in his truck and drives away. And I'm like, good for you, Bob. Treat her with class. Make her chase you a little bit.
Yeah, make her want it. But Bob's kind of cheating on his lady, which is kind of bad.
I don't know, though. It seemed like they weren't fully together. But I'm not sure, because at one point he's like, you're not a very nice person. When they go to, like, burn her up and stuff. You're not very nice. But Elvira likes Bob. She's all into Bob. She goes to the house with the lawyer. The lawyer's like, all right. She's like, ooh, this is pretty. How much can I sell this for? And he's like, well, it's not that one. It's that one. Addams Family house everywhere. This is easily $1 million home. Easily $1 million home. This thing is humongous, dude. It's huge. And she goes in, meets the dog. The dog hides the book. originally. The dog grabs the book and hides it in the couch. And she's like, oh, I don't know where the book went. Da-da-da-da-da. We get the uncle comes over. She can't find it. She was going to sell it for $50. Okay, well, when you find it, I still want it because he's going to do some kind of dark magic with it. We learn that he is somewhat a warlock, I guess. And she undresses very sensually. We see her, get into her negligee, we'll call it. But these three kids, the teenagers, are like climbing up the window, taking pictures of her and stuff. And then she slams their fingers in the window. And they're like, hey, we thought you might want some help cleaning the house up. And she's like, well, why don't you come back when it's a little lighter outside? And just slams their hands and they all fall down. Like, yeah, we got this sweet picture of her. I don't know what, but somebody got a picture. We'll come back tomorrow to help you out. And they do. Oh, these kids show up with, he's like, hey, my dad owns a hardware store and we got all this stuff. Pretty soon we get a 4 or 5 minute montage of kids painting with Elvira, just staring at her butt. She's like, hey, you want to grab a tool and bang on something? Huh? And they're like, whoa. The whole gang's there. They paint the house. It looks awesome. It's multicolored. It's very bright. The whole house is very bright. The kids all get
Punky
in trouble.
Brewster lives there.
Right. Yes. Or Strawberry Shortcake or somebody. Probably Punky Brewster. I think you're right. That would be a very Punky Brewster house. So the kids are all starting to really like her. She's bringing some culture to the town because we see the Morality Day picnic, I think is what they called it. Morality Day, where all the old people and there's like the oldest band you've ever seen in your life playing like barely doing anything. You got Chastity's over there like, oh, isn't this the best morality picnic ever? Da 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 da. So we see that side. Oh, that's not, no. That's not until she has dinner with Bob at her house. She tries to find a job for a while. She's wandering all around town, getting kicked out everywhere with the little heads floating like, everybody talking crap about her, all the adults around town, so she can't get a job. She does meet Bob at the theater. He's like, he's kind of like Lou Ferrigno. He's like, I'd hire you, but there's no money. And she's like, oh, I'll see what I can do about that, Bob. Yeah. And then they're going to have, their little moment or whatever. They end up back at Bob's house, or at her house, her and Bob. A couple of the kids are there. They're like, hey, she's like, you kids probably got to go away, huh? I'm trying to get me some Bob. And she jumps over on the couch next to him. That's even when he's like, whoa, I think we should eat or something first. Okay, I'll go whip you up something in Aunt Morgana or whoever's cookbook. She starts just like putting worms into a pot with some other, it looked like, I don't know, like freeze-dried weed nuggets is all in there, puts cheese in a can all over the top of it, and then puts a bag of chips on a seat and sits on it. And then dumps all the chips on top of the casserole. They're going to go to eat it. I love this sequence because the puppet is so cool. This Jim Henson looking like comes up out of the pot. It's even going after her boobs. It's trying to bite her boobs. And Shane and I were talking about it.
They do a POV shot.
Oh, yeah. You got to be. What if I was biting at her boobs? Shane and I were talking about it. I'm like, man, she must have. Like, that outfit had to have been engineered. You know what I mean? Because her boobs are pushed so crazy tight together. No natural breasts have ever sat like that. They're just like mashed together, like the mom from Blood Rage. Remember that? You remember that? But so much of this movie is focused on, her breasts. And so they end up getting it down the garbage disposal, bashing it all in. Well, I don't know what happened. Da-da-da-da-da. She gets the bright idea to take all the kids to the movie theater. She's like, I'm going to show you the worst movie ever. And it's this Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, spinoff or whatever. They just shot a couple minutes of footage of it. Somehow, and I love the kids are all sneaking out, but maybe Quentin Tarantino had a hand in this because there's so many feet shots. So many shots of kids putting on shoes and like feet stepping in water. I don't know, man.
I never realized that. Did you know that Brad Pitt was supposed to be one of the kids?
That would have been cool. I did not know that.
She didn't pick him specifically because she was like, if he was one of the kids, I wouldn't care about Bob.
Right, right. Yeah, he's too pretty, man. He's too
Yeah.
pretty. They defeat this monster, and he's like, I thought it was just soup or whatever. Well, maybe not. It's Grammys, magic, whatever. Witch book. We do see Uncle Vinny go down into his basement behind a bookshelf, and he's wearing, satanic panic robes. And he's like, raw. And we get this awesome 80s overlays where things were painted on. The effects are just like pew, pew, lightning shooting out of your fingers. Looks so good. And he says something about when the moon goes full eclipse, then that's when I'll get all my power. I'm going to become this, but I need that book. I need the book more than anything else. So she starts flipping through the book with Bob and tries to find a recipe for money. The money recipe doesn't work. All the kids get told that if they're seen with her, that they'll, I don't know, be expelled from school and grounded forever, something like that. Nobody's allowed to be around Elvira. Poor Elvira. And then the picnic happens, and the kids are all like miserable and stuff at this picnic. They don't even want to be there. But all the adults, she whips up a thing of this casserole that she had made where the monster came out, sneaks it over there, puts it on the table. They're like, oh, yeah, check this out. They're hiding behind the trees, going to watch. This is going to be great. The monster's going to come out. Well, no monster comes out. What instead comes out is a lot of older people flesh.
Yeah, I could have done without this scene.
All you get is a love potion that just horns up and the one lady's either like, mind if I take a seat right here? And just sits on dude's face who's sitting on the ground. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
this is, yeah. They're like, got their clothes off, like dancing all semi-old erotic. I don't know what you would call it.
That's
Geriatric
it.
eroticism.
Semi-erotic.
Yeah, semi-old erotic.
Jerry Roddick.
So they're fully in love, all this stuff. Now I can't remember exactly how they get her. Bob goes back to get the book from somewhere after she's tied up. The townspeople all go to their town meeting and agree we got to get rid of her. And that's when Vinny walks in like Shaw and Jaws and is just like, quiet! There's old laws on these books. Witchcraft. Demonology. We're going to burn her at the stake. And we are going to burn her at the stake. We're going to full on, because she even tries to have an open house to sell the house, and nobody shows up except one guy who tries to like grab her and gets way too handsy, and she chucks him out the window or out the front door. But we're going to burn her. Bob goes back to get the book. She's like, if I had the book. Oh, she's in jail. That's where she's at. She's in the jail cell because she's tinging her thing all over. Ting, 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 ting. Bob's going to go get the book. The dog turns into a mouse because they put the dog in jail with her. It was just like hanging out in the jail cell because that's what you do. The dog turns into a mouse because we learned that the dog was Morgana's familiar. Goes through a crack in the wall. Gets to Bob, unties Bob at the house. They come to get her. And I remember him from something too, the sheriff. I want to say he was in the remake of Psycho, the one with Vince Vaughn. I think he played the sheriff in that as well. But they're going to grab her up, take her outside. Everyone's there like, yeah, burn her. They really make a nice little fire thing, and they get her up there. Tie her up all tight. Bob gets free. Bob comes running. The bowling alley woman is like, you're not doing it right, Sheriff. You got to light it all over. Don't just light one spot, light it all over. So she burns up. She starts the fire. Thing starts going. Bob's trying to put it out with just his jacket. That's how smart Bob is. This whole hay everywhere in wood. And he's like, and then he looks right at the other goat. He's like, you're not very nice. I'm like, all right, Bob. Okay. She's had a power ring because we got a flashback, and I love the best thing about this whole movie is the baby with all the makeup on. Made me laugh way too hard, dude. Way too hard. She got left at the orphanage, but whoever left her there, her mother left her with this ring, and she's like, it'll protect you. The power's within you, or something like that. And so she like shoots towards the sky, all this blue light, and it starts raining and starts, pouring everywhere. We're going to put the fire out. The townspeople, they start to disperse because Vinny shows up, but now he's looking half demon, gnarly, crazy, fangs everywhere. And he's spitting fireballs. Or maybe I'm pretty sure he's spitting them. Maybe he was throwing them. He's chasing her. He's like, I need to get blah, 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 Elvira. Okay, come on, Bob. We got to run. Da, 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 da. They end up at her house. Bob gets choked out by Vinny. The dog tries to help. And then you get this Elvira fight between Vinny and Elvira. And it goes a couple different locations. He comes crashing through a wall. His hand bursts through the wall and grabs her by the neck. His whole body bursts through. And eventually she uses the power in the most anticlimactic ending ever, maybe. He's like, now you die. She's like, no. And then he's just like gone. and Vinny disappears. Elvira is able to make it to Vegas. Elvira makes it to Vegas. We get to see her show. We get to see her show.
A little bit of it. Just enough.
Just enough. Even though she did do, I think she did I don't know if it was Playboy or one of them, but I know she did when she was young, she posed nude. So it's not like nobody's ever seen Cassandra nude. What really broke everyone's heart is when she came out and said, I'm a lesbian. Because she was like, I didn't tell everyone for so long because that was my entire, you know what I mean? If the men truly believed they had zero chance, they might not have even watched it all. Like they needed to think that there was, that there was a chance. But it's this spider web backdrop. It's all purple. She's got huge, cool wings that she's dancing around with everywhere in these super sexy outfits. All these super ripped up, oily ab men are dressed as little devil firemen or something like that. And they're doing all the stuff. We probably get a minute and a half of her swinging titty tassels. And she shows you that she can do one at a time.
One at a time. She can do them different ways.
Yep, different directions. One going in one way, one going the other way. Yeah.
That's talent, dude.
It is talent. And, it's probably her showgirl beginnings, I imagine, She started out that way. And she's just like, seriously, you just got this see-through spiderweb bra with tassels, and you watch her spin those things for a couple of minutes. Just going. I could just watch it for a lot more minutes than it lasts. 10 hours like they used to do them internet videos. 10 hours of tassels.
Yeah, and I'd be there for the whole thing, dude. I'd be like, I can't talk this weekend, guys. It's Elvira Marathon Tassel Day.
10 hours later. And then
I just come out of my room all tired and dehydrated.
Oh, you the Towley from the latest season of South Park. Oh, that'll be you.
Dude, Tally could just walk on his own.
Dude, that was so gross. I felt so bad when he put him in the sink and turned the water on. He's like, And then we roll credits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a fast 88-minute movie.
For real. And I kind of miss those sometimes. I'm like, just get in, get out, get to the point. Get in, get to the point, get out. Yeah. Did you see we're getting another Leslie Vernon movie?
I did. I saw that.
I'm kind of it's either I think it's either gonna be great or it's gonna be not good.
True. Very true, yeah.
But I am excited. All right. We roll credits, get some music. I want to hear your thoughts before we get into any grading, before we get into anything. Yeah. Let's get Lil Duke Spooky's take on Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
First off, let's talk about Elvira. What's more important than this movie is the legacy, dude.
Look at that. Oh, dude, and they're actually 3D. See, you rest your wrist right there.
That's my mouse pad, dude. Everybody that comes over is like, how do you get any work done? Not when you're just jerking off to your mouse pad all day. Trust me, it's not easy. I mean, you can actually put your hot dog on that thing if you want. I would never. That's
right.
gross.
You would never.
No. It's not like I have 4 of these in the package waiting to like back up when this one gets too sticky.
It's so dry. Okay, so the movie.
Elvira.
Yes.
Elvira. Not just the movie. Elvira was a mainstay of the 80s. Mm-hmm. My father was horny for Elvira and passed on his horniness to me as a young boy.
So many fathers were horny for Elvira and passed it on.
Exactly. And then she went away for a long time in the 90s. I remember I got like a cassette that was like a bunch of songs from like that she put together. It was like a Halloween mix. And I was like, oh shit, dude, I almost forgot about Elvira. She's fucking awesome. Right. And then she was doing Halloween shows at Knott's Berry Farm. But I feel like Elvira was kind of like a Betty Page, where like until she aged out of what she was doing, that's when she really became popular. You know, she's more popular now, I think, than she ever was in the 80s. She was always struggling to get shit made, struggling to like stay relevant and all this stuff. Right. And it was always really hard. And now she's aged out of it. She can't even like wear that costume anymore, but people fucking eat it up. They love it.
They love her, dude.
Yeah. She's the mistress of darkness. You can't have Halloween without Elvira. Like fucking Spirit Halloween has picked up Elvira merch.
Everybody, dude, like T-shirts. I saw like an Elvira. I had one for a while. It was an Elvira beer T-shirt, and she was like holding a beer, and it said Elvira or something on it. And it was really cool.
Hell yeah, dude. She's like right now. She's in comic books. There is a Harlequin versus Elvira comic book right now.
Sick,
amazing.
Is that Dynamite? Sick, dude. Do you know who put it?
No,
up?
It's DC.
Oh, I guess it would have to be if it was Harley.
Oh, yeah. But Dynamite has been putting out good stuff too. Yeah, she's in the Monsterverse where she like goes through all the different monsters that are around right now, and then she's like Elvira and Vincent Price. Like she's huge right now, huge. And when I went and met her, dude, like people that are relevant in cinema right now, like the fucking Stranger Things kids sitting there at their booth by themselves. Elvira's got a line around the block.
Yeah, dude.
You know, we waited forever. I waited 3 hours in line to get her autograph, dude. And like, I tried to snap a picture, and like, this dude was on me in like a second. Like, give me that picture. I can't have pictures of Elvira. Which, by the way, she still looks gorgeous for being in her 70s.
Right.
I'd hit that so hard. I might even have a chance now. Nah,
I gave Charlie Chaplin a hand job. He wasn't so silent after I was done with him. I did get a picture of Nick Swartzen in his race car bed. I got him to sign one for me, which is sweet. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, but when I got up there, I was like, okay, what am I going to say to Elvira that a million other dudes hasn't said to her? Right. I didn't want to be gross either. I went up with respect. I said, Elvira, my dad got me into Elvira, and he told me that you might be my mom. And she was like, I could be. These are crazy.
Now let me breastfeed.
And I was like, Mom,
I'm only 260 months old. Let me.
Yes, exactly. Now I've also read her book, which, just like the Jenna Jameson book, it makes you feel weird when you find out about all her trauma.
Right.
Then then you feel bad. You're like, oh, I've objectified her boobs so much. Oh, and she's been through so much. Oh, I just want to say I'm sorry for all the times I jerked off, Elvira. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't want to tell you I jerked off to you, but I did right before I got here, and I will be after I leave here too. I said too much.
It happened when I was in line.
I've jerked off 3 times on the way up here.
We hear so many of those stories, like, Carrie Fisher's books and, Brooke Shields and all these people who were like hypersexualized super early.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, and you might think this is crazy, I've never been attracted to Elvira. I've never.
What?
Yeah.
You don't like goth chicks?
Um, it's not even that. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the humongous hairs, just way too like it looks like an alien head hiding
Huh?
underneath there or something.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I just never. I don't know. It just never really did it for me growing up. But
So what about
I
like
love her as a
Morticia
character.
Addams?
I love her as a character, though. No, Mortician
Right.
either. Yeah, Mortician either. Never really. Mm,
Yeah. The thing about Elvira is that she had to be chased. If
right,
she ever had it where like a guy actually got her, she was always the one who was like guys were always oogling over her, but she
right.
never gave it up to anybody.
Unless she
So she
wanted,
wasn't
unless she picked, like she does it with
unless
Bob
she
at the
picked.
house, right?
Well, maybe. I don't know. But that was the thing. Bob had to be so stupid because every guy in the world is like, dude, Elvira wants you. You
Right,
gotta that's not even like a thing. That's not even a
right.
question. But he's like so dumb. He's like, I don't know what to do with these boobies.
And if somebody grabs him at one point, somebody's like the old man might be just like holding him, touching him, and she like has
Yeah.
to force herself out of some bars or a gate at one point, and we just see like the
She uses
boobs
her
coming through
titty
first.
power, dude. Just
Oh yeah, she
crazy.
broke it. She broke like the chain or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Yeah. And I believed it, dude. I was like, everything in this movie's silly, but that. That was awesome.
totally,
That's
totally
her
makes
superpower.
sense. Totally makes sense. Ah.
Here's a question I have for you, being a horror movie aficionado like you are. What is Elvira? I used to think she was a vampire. This movie leads you to believe maybe she's a witch. I think that she might be a succubus
I would
or a
lean more
siren. She
towards
sings.
Succubus. You're right because she does the whole song. You know what I mean? Well, we forgot that she raps too in this one. Not just
You
during
have to, dude.
during the song, she's straight spitting, and you go like next to her in the background. These
Like
dudes in
Fat Boys, dude.
tracksuits, yeah, they were killing it.
Yeah.
And she's like,
And she does a Rambo thing at one point.
"Oh, with the
She
Johnny
turns into
Gun
Rambo Elvira. Yeah.
with the red bandana, everything. Her shirt's like all ripped in a crazy way, and she's just like, "Hey, big boy, you think that'll
That's the
hurt?"
thing.
Yeah,
If you come into this thing without knowing anything about Elvira, yeah, it's a stupid movie, dude.
right.
But if you respect and love Elvira the way that I do, it's so funny, it's so good, and it's making fun of all the stuff that she's paying homage to, especially the old stuff, the
Right,
50s
right.
and the 60s, you know?
And I think you do have to have a respect for Elvira going into this, absolutely. But for me, I've always, the respect has been, and I love her because she created a character that is, one of the last to do it. Like we got Sven Gulli that comes on Saturday nights. But you used to have every local affiliate would have somebody who would come on late at night and be like, "Hey, let's watch a monster movie," and I'll say some stuff.
Right.
And she did that, and she could do it well. She sells that character. Like when she's Elvira, it's good. She's just like quick with it, bang, bang, bang. However, if you don't know, you're right. This is going to be.
It's going to be a schlock,
It's not even going to make any sense, dude. It's almost like Plan 9 from
Right.
outer space. You know what I mean? It
Right.
just has a weirdness about it that you would be, or Pee Wee's Playhouse is just like, this is chaos. Who made this chaos?
I always see the parallels between her and Pee Wee because, and like I would say, Paul Rubens did what she couldn't, was what brought Pee Wee, which started off as like more of an adult character in the
Right.
HBO series and stuff, and even in the live shows. And he made it kid friendly, and he made a movie that brought Pee Wee into the mainstream. And that's what she was trying to do with
Yeah.
this. She was like, okay, now I'm going to bring Elvira into the mainstream. And she missed the mark because she didn't have the director, she didn't have the writer, and she didn't have the budget that Pee Wee
Right.
had.
Because if she would have had Tim Burton, I think this would have been a quirky, it would have been a scary Pee Wee, dude, with big boobs. It would have been Pee Wee with
Right.
boobs.
Right.
And I think, he lucked out, Paul Rubens, by getting Tim Burton, and then Tim Burton's like, "Oh, I want Danny Elfman to do this." And then all of a sudden you have this new, like, two powerhouses that just smashed and created the entire sound and look of the 90s for the most part. It was Batman 89, then it was just boom, 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 boom right after that because Tim Burton could print money. But I that's a good observation. I never thought about it that way, that she was trying to do that same thing. But I didn't even look up, how it did at the box office or anything like that. So I'm not sure if it
It
was a success.
bombed.
Did it? Yeah.
Oh, it bombed. So the company that was releasing it went under literally while they were going into like post production on this movie, and so they lost all of their advertising, and it was supposed to come out in like 3,000 theaters or whatever, and it wound up coming out in like just a couple hundred theaters
Ooh.
because the company
Right.
went bankrupt and couldn't afford to like put it out, and she got totally hosed. And she made a sequel to this movie called Elvira's Haunted Hills,
Yeah.
and it's really silly and everything. But again, she tried to put all this money into it, and she was like, "We're gonna fix what we messed up with that other Elvira," because
Gotcha.
even the movie that came out wasn't what she wanted to make. She knew it was low budget. She wanted bigger actors to play in the movie. You know,
Sure.
she wanted Vincent Price for the old guy. You know,
Oh,
that
for
was
Vinny?
turned into the Warlock.
Yeah, that would have been killer.
Yeah, but he didn't want to do it. He didn't
was
want to do it
old,
because
though, at
the
the
subject
time,
matter
man.
was too raw.
Yeah, and he was also, I mean,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
up in age at the time because, I mean, what year was Scissorhands? 92, 3, 4, somewhere in there. And that was his last one before he passed away.
Yeah,
So,
that was the
yeah.
last thing.
So I kind of see that,
Yeah, but he was great friends with her.
which is cool. Which I did read she went on one date with Elvis. I
Yeah.
was like, that's kind of, I was thinking, like, yo, is that where you got your name from? You know what I mean? Like Elvis,
She didn't
Elvira.
sleep with Elvis either.
Huh?
Oh, true. Yeah, yeah.
Right?
She said she never slept with Elvis. They stayed up all night and talked.
Yeah. I believe it.
But she did say that she lost her virginity to Tom Jones.
That's kind of gross. But
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
so let's
he was
score
old,
it.
man.
Dude.
She was like 12. Yeah.
So let's score it. Out of 5,
Are we scoring the movie or are we scoring Elvira?
we're scoring the movie. We've already, I feel like, kind of given our thoughts on Elvira. Or if
All
you
right.
want to give both, that's okay too. But out of 5 pasty white breasts, how many do you give Elvira, Mistress of the Dark? 2?
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, gets 2 big titties up. Woo! I'm going to give this movie a 3 because I've watched it over and over again. I love it. I understand it's not going to be for everybody. I don't
Yeah.
care.
You
that
know
it's
what's,
not for
you know what's
everybody.
funny
It's
though
for
is
me.
I came in here, kind of thinking like, oh, where do I go? Where do I go? And once I finished watching it, I was like a 3. It's a 3 for me because it is fun. I know, right? I was surprised
fun.
when you didn't go a little bit higher. It is fun. It is a great time capsule of the 80s. It is a great, quick burn. Turn it on and be like, what is going on? If you have any affinity for Elvira, it's a must watch. It's kind of her big break. It's the one you got to check out. And like you said, she's more popular now than maybe she ever was, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5 just because there is a lot that, and maybe it is just for me. Like you said, I grew up, Elvira was always around, whether it was on a poster, it was on a something, Elvira was always there, even if I wasn't watching the movie Macabre. And now all those are on like Tubi or something like that. You can watch her old episodes where because she brought back the series at one point and did, So it's not the ones that were on TV and shit like that. It's whatever she did that next round that you can watch, but also a ton of fun. So, Elvira's Mistress of the Dark, 3 out of 5. Check it out, man. It's on, I watched it on Pluto or something. Pluto or Tubi, it's available for free. You don't even have to, rent it or anything like that. If you, like Lil Duke Spooky, enjoy cleavage, if you enjoy the female form, then this is a movie for you. This is a movie for you. And Elvira enjoys the female form. We already talked about that. She
does. I have no problem with that, by the way.
Me either. No, hell no, dude. Who cares?
Keep those yucky penises away from that beautiful thing. Let her just touch flower gardens. That's what we want to see.
Scissors. Oh, South Park, how you've just done me right over the years. All right, let's take a minute. Pause for the living. Segment of the show where we talk about maybe some idea or something, some way we can be cooler to ourselves, cooler to each other, stuff like that. And I have a little tip this week because we've been going through it with trying to sell our home. and it's been, constantly leaving for people to come look at it, and then the inspection and all this stuff, and da 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 da. And I was in the shower last night, and I was just like, I'd been like, my brain had just been racking about all kinds of things. And I don't know, I just kind of sat there quietly for a while. That's what I try and do. Just sit quiet and listen more than anything else. And I just sat there. And eventually I got hit with this realization that I was just thinking too small. And that's a dangerous thing. Thinking too small makes mountains out of molehills. And almost everything's a molehill, because at the end of the day, whether or not my house sells, it's not that big of a deal. The big deals are like the people. Like if I was to lose like one of my kids, that would be a really big deal. My parents, I know when my last remaining parents go, that's going to be a big deal because I've known them people my whole life. But this, I was like, really like stressed out about it. I was like, man, fuck, what if something goes bad? What if, da, 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 what if? And all I was doing was sitting there suffering. I was just suffering in the shower, just naked Pops Ghostly in the water. Just suffering. And then it came to me, and I sat with that for a while. I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. And I kept thinking about it a little bit. And then before I was done with my little meditation or whatever you want to call it, I had another thought come to my mind about life in general. And it was just, don't squander it. Don't waste your life. You only get one shot. And for me, being all stressed out like that and worried about some stuff that's for the most part irrelevant is a waste of life. That is a waste. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my energy. It's a waste of all of that. And so that doesn't mean don't enjoy life. When I say don't squander life, I don't mean like work every day until your bones are bloody. And it has nothing to do with that. Because even Marcus Aurelius said you could work hard every single day for your entire life, but if you're not doing something worthwhile, then it's still it's a waste. If you're just doing busy work, I'm just staying busy for the sake of staying busy, then that's just a waste. So I'm going to try not to make mountains out of molehills. I'm going to try to, throughout the rest of this process, and I was also thinking, though, like everything comes and goes in seasons, like some seasons of life are more hectic than others. And in those seasons, you have to be more mindful about taking the time to slow down, to take a breath, to do all those things. And then there will be seasons that seem easy, but rarely do we notice those ones. When life's easy, you don't really notice it. You notice when it becomes hard and when it becomes a pain. So yeah, that's my pause for the living for the week, is to look at the big things, like, look at the stars and really just think about the fact that we're floating on a little rock. And those go on forever and ever, and we barely even can know anything about anything. Our ocean, we barely know anything about anything. We don't know what's all the way down there. Those, that's bigger thinking, I think. It's trying to find a bigger world for which your mind to sit in. I'm not just trapped in, I'm trying to sell my house. It's like I'm trying to sell my house in a super cool world, in a super crazy big universe, that one day our planet's going to be blown up by the sun and none of it's going to be really that important anyway. So why am I worried about selling this house? And I got away from it, and it was all right. But it was probably 15, 20 minutes when I sat there like wrestling with my mind. It's like, come on. Not really the thoughts, but just like, okay, let's quiet down, It's more quieting the thoughts down. It's when they're, it's taking the time to shush all of that. And then just sit there with whatever you're trying to go through and kind of see if anything comes to you. And I feel for most people, it probably would just naturally. You just sit quietly, it'll come. You got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I get it with selling a house, man. Selling a house is one of the worst things I've ever been through in my life. And now Brian Gunn's trying to move down here from Arizona, and so he's dealing with selling his house, and like it's a nightmare, dude, and it's stressful,
dude. Yeah.
and it's our natural response as human beings to just worry about it. And I think it's because we want to worry about it a little bit because we think like if we're worried about it, we're on it, we're in it, we're
all right,
feeling it, we're like available to it. No problem can hit me because I've worried about it so much. But you know how many problems worry has ever solved?
No,
absolutely zero, dude.
Right.
No problem has ever been solved because I fucking worried about it.
Or maybe you feel justified on the other side. You could be like, "See, told you. I knew this shit was gonna go bad. I knew it was gonna go bad. I told you. Right. I told you it was gonna go bad. I'm never gonna do anything like this again because I told you this was gonna go bad."
Right.
Yeah, but you're right. Worrying
it was gonna go bad.
Yeah, it doesn't solve anything, dude. Doesn't solve anything.
Yeah, pat yourself on the back. Congratulations, you worried through a problem. How do you feel now?
Right. All you gave yourself was like stress and an increased heart rate and probably like ravaging your cardiometabolic system. Yeah.
Right. And you can't just be like, fuck it, that problem has no control over me. It does. Right. You still got to sell your fucking house.
Right.
But you don't got to worry about it as much. You know,
right.
You don't have to beat yourself up.
Right.
Take a shower. Think about Elvira. Rub a couple out. You're already in the shower. It's going to clean itself. That's the kind of stuff that should make you feel better.
And on that note, we will. Next week, I'm hoping we're going to be doing Todd Browning's Freaks from 1931, I believe. Freaks was if you have not seen it, it is one of those cult classic seminal pieces of cinema in regards to horror that it ended my man's career. It ended his career. This movie did, because it was too much, way too much for the people at the time. I personally think it's aged hyper well, as far as, and we'll talk more about that when we get there, but yeah, one of us. So crazy. All right. So until then, keep your soul beautiful. Like, subscribe, do all those fun things. Till next week, I've been Pops Ghostly.
Don't be ashamed to love boobies. I'm Lil Duke Spooky.